You can plan your next meal, your outfit, your weekend, your vacation, and your whole life, but none of that matters if you don't actually do any of it. No action usually means nothing is happening. Yet sometimes when we go all in and we just do, we can get lost without a plan. It's like taking a trip, but you haven't booked your lodging, you haven't decided where you're even going, how you'll get there, or even figured out how much it's going to cost. You get a little lost. Or maybe you get really lost and or broke. And all that time could end up a waste of time, especially if you had a goal in mind of what you wanted to experience, try, or learn. It's kind of similar to art and the art journey. If all you do is draw the same thing repeatedly, never really learning the fundamentals or foundations of art, nor even challenging yourself to try new things, you might get good at that one thing only. And sure, that's worked for some artists, but is that really what you want for your journey? What am I really telling you here? Well, it's basically the fourth and final of my sacred P's to any art beginner. Planning. Hello, I'm Mo Sugars, an artist illustrator whose own plans might need some rethinking. Other videos in this series explored the themes of being practical and expectations when starting this wonderful journey in art, learning how to stay both positive and patient during the journey, and why practice is vital to the growth in that journey. However, it's time to talk about planning the journey and why planning can be an essential guide to walking it. Now, I'm not going to dictate to you a solid curriculum that I think would work for you. You should have an idea of where you stand in this journey, what you're capable of and what you think you're capable of, and what you can reasonably accomplish. You understand you more than anyone. I'm also not going to outline any kind of lesson plans here. If anything, I want to give you ideas, suggestions, or thoughts to consider on how you can structure your plan for growth. Art is a personal journey, and the plan you make should be personal to you and your art. Besides, there are plenty of great resources and videos out there that can give you more solid examples and structures of plans. Honestly, I'm just not that good at that, so I apologize. But on that note, allow me to drop the few ideas and thoughts that I have here. First off, what's a plan of action? Usually used in business, but applicable anywhere. A plan of action is a detailed proposal for doing or achieving something, or is a decision about what one is going to do. They usually consist of 4 elements that identify your objectives, or in this case your goals, what actions you're going to need to take, the resources you'll need, and how you'll implement your plan. Any great plan looks at the individual steps that will help you achieve your goals, or achieve milestones in your artistic journey. Creating a plan for your journey is beneficial in that it provides a guide that you can craft, knowing how you work and what you're capable of. It can be as flexible as you need it to be. It allows you to understand and allot for what resources you'll need beforehand. And I'll mention more about this later too, what your budget is, and so on. Plus, creating a plan of action can give you motivation and help you stay committed to your journey. You can see your progress and remain positive and patient about the journey ahead. Now, I want to expand on a few points. Why is this so important? Because a lack of resources can halt your progress. Think about the things you'll need. Pencils for drawing, erasers, sketchbooks for practice, maybe drawing paper, paint, brushes, canvas. What things will you need, and when will you need them by for you to accomplish your goals and your deadlines? Maybe you also need to determine the time and location for drawing every day. Time is a resource too, and time spent on your art journey and not on worrying about getting that stuff, best use. The first step to this is to identify your goals and be realistic about them so you can form a well-informed plan. This could be short-term goals, so say something you'd want to learn in a week's time, or long-term, say if you want to make art a career. The most important thing regardless is, again, to identify your goals. It allows you to adjust your plan accordingly. Like I said in the first video of this series, you have to be practical about them. You will not be amongst the likes of Rockwell or Rackham in a week's worth of time. High chance of that is no, not going to happen. Write a list maybe of your goals, short and long, and write by them what you believe it will take to achieve those goals. How can you accomplish them? Do a bit of research too, to better inform yourself of what it could possibly take. Do not set unrealistic goals. When you don't hit them in your desired time frame, it hurts. The disappointment drags on you. But when you accomplish your goals, those realistic ones, there's nothing like having that under your belt. It's a nice booster shot of motivation. Again, the key to creating deadlines is to know what your goals are and what your limitations are, what you are capable of. What is the goal? What resources will you need for that goal? What research education will you need, and how much will you first need to learn and practice? How much time do you think you'll need to accomplish it? Will there be any obstacles, and if so, what do you think they'll be? Is your deadline then reasonable, realistic, and practical? Are you willing to put in the work? Ask yourself all kinds of questions when you create your deadlines, like these for example. That way it can better inform your journey. Goals and deadlines work closely together in the sense of making a plan, and you should account for both the short term and long term like we just talked about. Think carefully and critically. Do not be harshly critical or cruel to yourself though. Remember, you are learning. That's what makes the journey all the more fun, even if it can be challenging. Then when you hit that deadline and you accomplish that goal, oh boy does it feel really good. Here are a few other things I think you should plan on doing. I know I said I wouldn't dictate, so this one I'm going to strongly urge you. You should draw every day. I mean, this is a really great way to practice. Draw every day at a time that's best for you and free of distractions, and for now, ditch that phone unless it's tied directly to your lessons. Consider a dedicated amount of time and a location that really works for you. Could be that kitchen table, a desk, or really anywhere that lets you freely work. This will help you get in the habit of actually drawing every day. I tried to drive this home in my video about practice too. However, you might want to consider also rethinking exactly how you spend that daily drawing time too after you've gotten into the habit. Maybe you could perhaps practice the fundamentals or foundations of art, especially those you find challenging. But the main idea really is to just draw every day and plan on drawing every day. The foundations are that. Foundations. They're the framework, the structure that will inform and support almost anything that you'll make. Think of the foundations of art like this. When you build a structure like a house, you need a solid plan and foundation for that structure to stand. If the foundation is lacking or weak, the structure won't be stable. It won't have the support that it needs. And there's a high chance that the structure is going to collapse. For those of us pursuing art, the foundations give us support with information and education that has served almost every artist before us. This is why it's important to plan on learning them. You might just find that your confidence in creating art will also get stronger too. Give yourself time to get familiar with these foundations, but most importantly, plan on learning them. The more you know about them, the more they'll support you in your journey in art. Plan on studying other artists because they can offer you insights to both their methods, techniques, and problem solving. So many artists nowadays share their tips, tricks, and techniques of their art making online, and you can really study how they make the art that you admire by watching carefully how they put their media down and so on. Some provide their process or how they planned a specific piece of art. Even studying a painting or researching its creator, even if said creator is alive or not, can provide ways to observe technique and their thought process. Then try out their techniques for yourself. When you do, you'll find things that can inform your own art journey. Plan on taking action. Like I said, if you only plan, but you never do anything with your plans, they're just a waste of your time spent. On the flip side, if you never plan on anything, you might fumble and get lost. Also, a waste of your time spent. Planning needs to be equal with taking action. That's why for your art journey, you should create a plan of action that draws on your knowledge of you, of your goals, your capabilities, and how you work in general. When you identify your goals, the resources you'll need, the needed actions to make it happen, and by your deadlines, and how you'll implement those actions into your overall plan, you're providing yourself a guide to work from. A guide that can be as flexible as you need it. It helps you stay committed and motivated and gives you something to look forward to. When you start walking that path on your art journey, young artist, you can walk confidently towards your dreams. That does it for my sacred piece to new artists. If you liked this video, please plan on dropping a like or leaving a comment below about your plans to artistic greatness. Or if my advice was a shoddy mess, I plan on reading all of the comments you have. Until next time, thank you, make art, and have fun.